With the setup, dashes up, baits the throw this time. Dogura finally reaches.
Yo, he's getting mauled.
Not quite done. He's so close. Baits the throw. Neon, he's going to throw the hail. This is a lot of damage.
Finish the job.
It's going to be so close. One more. Fakes the throw, and Neon is in top 8 over Dogura.
And Atlanta's going wild.
Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's Born Free here. I am at Red Bull Conquest in Washington, DC with my man Neon. How the hell are you?
Pretty good.
Pretty good. He's pretty good. He's pretty good. So let's start off with the Conquest, right? Because it's a multi-game format, innovation from Red Bull. What do you think of the tournament? What do you think of the production? Let me know your thoughts.
Production is amazing. Oh my god. The setup here is insane. So many casual setups, it's great. And the format is a little interesting, but I like how they're giving underrated games, a chance to shine, like Guilty Gear. I just think it's pretty neat.
So by the time this comes out, people will know what's happened. How are you? What's going on with you in the tournament at this moment?
I'm in top 8. I'm in loser's side. I have to play Cool Kid first round.
You feeling confident about that match?
Yeah, funny story. Red Bull last year, exactly a year ago, is when I first played Cool Kid in tournament. And unfortunately, he did beat me. Good stuff to you, by the way. But I get my run back now.
Fair enough, fair enough. That sounds good. Now, let's get on to you. I wanted to ask you kind of a lot of random questions, as always. Not that organized, but first thing is, you come from Atlanta, right? How strong is the Atlanta scene? They're very strong in Tekken, right? But how's the Atlanta scene in terms of Street Fighter?
I think we've been able to hold our own this year. Our tournament results aren't great, but I think once we get more experience, we'll be good to go.
Okay. So do you get good practice like in your locals and stuff?
Oh yeah, we have weeklies, monthlies, and our scene is just great.
Okay. So you've been sponsored a few times, right? Via Reddit. What was that experience like going through that whole? Because I've been through it myself, and I felt pretty special. It was a wonderful experience to have the community rather than an organization. It was actually the community. So how did that feel?
It was great. It was a little overwhelming, the amount of people that voted for me to help get me out to Combo Breaker. Shout outs to you guys, by the way. And shout outs to Joe Monday. Without him, none of this would have been possible.
It's true. Joe is like an absolute staple of the community. He's a good guy. And yeah, I can't say enough good things about him. Now, recently, I just thought this was a funny thing because I was thinking about you, and one of the things I thought was funny was the ELeague thing, right, where you were called the Average Joe. So, for those of you who don't know the story, basically ELeague hold this kind of, I guess, side tournament where everyone competes with the opportunity to play a pro, right? And somehow you managed to get in that tournament and then get to play Phenom. And the funny thing was you were called the Average Joe. How did that feel to be called the Average Joe?
I thought it was hilarious. The whole Twitter drama, it was just funny seeing everyone's reactions. I don't know, it was great.
Did you feel like an average Joe at that time? Like, where do you feel you're at now?
Personally, I feel like there's still a lot I could work on. I don't think of myself like a quote-unquote top player, but I don't know. I feel like there's a lot of room for improvement.
Fair enough. Did you do an exhibition with Brian F? Is that right?
I did.
Can you just tell me about that?
It was online. I think it was set by the new Challenger TV Discord people. Final score was like 10-7, I believe. It's usually one-sided in my favor, but I could tell Brian did his homework.
What do you think of the matchup between Kolin and Boxer?
It's an interesting matchup because Kolin can pretty much counter everything Barra can do. It's just a matter of guessing. But I think it's pretty even.
Pretty even? Okay. Well, let's talk about Kolin a little bit more before we go. I'm going to delve into a few things here, your history, and we'll do a little bit of a player profile, I think. But Kolin, why Kolin? Why do you play Kolin?
All right, so Season 1, I was originally a Dawson main. Then I switched over to Nash. And then once he got his legs chopped off, Season 2, Final round 2017, last year, I was eliminated I put in losers by Mago, and then I was eliminated by a Rashid player by the name of Masturbator. And then from that...
Sorry, what? I just need you to say that again.
So his tag was Masturbator.
Good debates, right?
Yes.
Okay, just wanted to clear that up.
He eliminated me from final round, and then from that day forth, I said never again. I picked up Kolin, and the rest is history.
But why did you pick up Kolin? What was it about the character that attracted you? Because it's not like you went, let me find the top tier character. You were like, why?
I don't know. She just stood out to me. She's a bitch, quote unquote bitch, and I don't know. I just love it.
So you like her character, you like her aesthetic, you like her moves.
All of it.
Okay. All right. So passion for the actual character herself, and that hasn't faded over time. Have you thought about switching?
Not switching, but picking up a character for bad matchups to counterpick.
So what are her bad matchups?
I'd say her worst matchup is Guile.
Okay, I think that's everyone's worst matchup. And which character were you thinking? I mean, I don't know if you want to reveal it or not, but you got a character in mind?
Season 1, I was a Dawson main, so I'm thinking about picking him back up.
And you think Dalsim does well against Guile?
I think it's even, which is about as good as you can get against Guile.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I guess that makes sense. All right, so let's talk about you a little bit. The name Neon, what's that all about? Is there a story behind that?
Kind of. So back in high school, my first car was a Dodge Neon. My parents got it for me, and I couldn't come up with the tag. So I was like, whatever, let's go with Neon. Short, simple. I like it.
And that was it? So when did your fighting game history begin? Like, what was the first thing you played, and when did you first start taking it seriously?
So the first fighting game I played was Mortal Kombat 2 on the SNES. My uncle, he was living with us at the time. He knew all the special moves. And back then you didn't have a command list, so you didn't really know unless you practiced a lot. So he was super good. And he taught me all the special moves. Originally a Katana main. She's my favorite fighting game player. I have this, by the way.
Oh, show that to the camera.
I don't know if you guys can see it, but...
We're trying, I don't know, maybe they can see that. Wave it around a bit.
Shout outs to MK.
That's really dope.
My favorite fighting game character. Anyway.
I'm trying to get the focus back. This is why I'm doing this. But yeah, so Katana's your favorite character. Why?
Again, her overall aesthetic. I think the bladed fans are super dope. I don't know, I just like it.
So when did fighting games become a serious thing for you?
So my first offline tournament was in 2013. I didn't know people played this offline. So I was super excited when I found out about Final Round. That was my first tournament, offline experience. I didn't do too well, but I don't know, it's... From that point on, this is something I want to take seriously. It's just seeing the community so involved. It was just great.
Were you playing Street Fighter then?
Yes, Street Fighter 4.
And what character were you playing there?
Rose.
I thought you were going to say Viper, but okay, Rose. Rose is fine.
Yeah.
Did you not in? Okay, so Menat is in 5. Did you, when Menat came, did you think maybe you'd pick up Menat, or did you just think, nah, she's not like Rose?
So I was super excited when she was announced. She looked super cool. I did try her, but to me she felt too much like Dalsim, and I didn't really like Dalsim, so I said, nah, I'll just put her aside for now.
Okay.
I should have learned her.
Yeah, she's pretty strong now, given what people are doing with her. Particularly as she has no hurt box on her. No hurt box on her normals.
Yeah. So I stream, and I was up against a Menat on my stream, and one of the stream monsters asked, how do you whip punish Menat? And I just laughed. I'm like, you can't.
Yeah. It's pretty wild. So you got into it, you started with Street Fighter 4, then when did you, I guess, and how did you decide to get better?
So I'm pretty competitive. One of the first locals I went to, I got bodied, and I was like, I really hate losing. So I just devoted myself to get better.
But like, what did you do?
I just played a lot.
A lot of grinding? You're one of those? You're one of those? So you learn on the go?
I do, yes. So I didn't know Frame did at all. I didn't know what it was. So I just, once I found out about that, I did some serious studying, and I guess that kind of helped as well.
Got it. All right, talking of history, this is one of my newer questions. I kind of like this one, but because I like preserving kind of the history. Do you have a favorite historical match which doesn't involve you that you look at and you go, wow, that's like the dopest thing, everyone needs to see that?
So back in Street Fighter 4, you had the two Rufus players, Ricky Ortiz and Justin Wong.
Yeah.
And Snake Eyes, they would play in tournament a lot. And just seeing Rufus versus Zangief, it was just like nothing but neutral footsies. And I just fell in love with watching all of their matches. It's just great.
So anything that involved like Ricky Ortiz, Justin Wong, and Snake Eyes. All right, so if you're into neutral, go check out those videos. All right, let's talk about the game currently. How do you feel about the iteration of the game at the moment? What do you like about it? What would you potentially like to see change?
So I don't like how you're forced into a lot of guessing situations, especially with grapplers having like, say they cancel a normal into V-trigger and they're plus. They have a command throw, you're forced to guess. So I hope they do something with that. I don't know how they change it. Maybe make it like how Falk has, you have to hit confirm her V-trigger too, otherwise you're punishable. I feel like they should do a little something like that.
Okay, so grapplers are an issue. In that situation, I say grapplers are an issue because I hate grapplers in general. But yeah, in that specific situation where you have to guess after the V-trigger activation. Right. So, did you notice a difference with the input lag? Has that helped? Have you noticed it in any games where you've gone, that definitely changed for me?
To be honest, no.
Not really?
Not really.
Okay, interesting. When you first picked it up, did you feel like your character was moving different? Did anything feel different?
No. I didn't. The patch dropped on a Tuesday, I think, the weekend before Canada Cup. And then I didn't actually play until tournament, and it felt the same to me.
Okay. So you stream, right?
Yes.
Yeah. When you're streaming online, I got a question for you, because I started streaming myself, and anybody who watches me stream knows that like I get really upset about the network, when the netcode's bad, right? How do you get through those matches? How do you get through? Have you got any advice for people to how to get through a match when the netcode is really bad?
Just hold up forward.
Just hold up forward?
Just do it, yeah.
Just jump? So just go all in, basically?
Yes.
Got it. Somebody else said that to me too, actually. I'm going to have to go. That's what I do. I just go ham.
Do it.
I just do a lot of DPs.
It works.
It works. Okay. All right. Okay, so we have, we're going to have a patch coming up. We got Season 4 coming up. I guess we talked a little bit about what you'd like to change. What about characters? I mean, are you thinking, I hope Rose is there? There are other characters you'd like to see?
So there's a lot of buzz going around about Rose coming next season. Yeah, there was an Event Hubs article and everything. Yeah, I'm super excited for Rose if it's true. I can't wait.
Yeah. Is there any characters that you feel really need to be nerfed or buffed for Season 4, or you would at least like to see it?
Nerf Guile, please, for the sake of my sanity. And I'd like to see them do something with the low tiers, like Alex, Vega, Fong. Just give them a little something more.
Okay. Do you think there should be any more mechanics added? There was that data mining kind of leak thing where it's like, oh, there's this V break, like a combo breaker and so that was probably the wildest one. There was a bunch of different stuff, second critical art, blah 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 blah. Is there any kind of mechanic that you'd like to see added?
Maybe not so much a second mechanic. Maybe like a second critical art.
Oh yeah. In what respect? Like, why would you, like, ones that you could use in different situations?
So say for example, one feature or one critical art is like a grab.
Yeah.
The other one should be like something to help you get past projectiles. That makes sense.
Okay. All right. Gotcha. That would be interesting. Although I'd be really scared of some of the command grab characters, as per usual. Where do you see yourself? Like you just said earlier, like as a player, you're sort of like I think you're on the up, right? Basically, certainly the last year or so, you've become more well known. You've got more people who are interested in you. You stream, like doing a lot of things right. I think. Is there a game plan? Where do you see yourself, your future in fighting games or in Street Fighter?
To be honest, I'm kind of just winging it, so I have no idea, like the rest of my life. But hopefully it does take me somewhere. If I don't become a quote-unquote pro player at some point, I'd still like to be involved in the community, whether that be running tournaments or something like that.
Okay. And why fighting games? Why fighting games over I don't know, Call of Duty or League of Legends or whatever? Like, why fighting games?
So my attention span is super short. I don't play any other kind of video games.
Really?
Really. So I feel with fighting games, you constantly have to adapt. You're always like under pressure, and I feel like that I don't get bored. I just don't.
Okay.
With
All right.
games, I get super bored, and I just stop playing. Like I have games I'll play for 20 minutes, and then I'll never touch again.
What do you do? Are you a lab monster?
Sometimes. So when I don't stream, I usually on Sundays, that's like my lab day.
Yeah.
So I just, Kolin has a bunch of set play. That's how I figure it out. I just set a day aside of the week and just lab it out.
Okay. And is that the one time when you, because I think, I don't have a very good attention span either, right? But labbing is one of those things where I fall asleep a little bit, like, do you find the labbing process fascinating?
No, it's super boring. But when you do find something and it's like, oh wow, I can't wait to use this in tournament, that's where it's a little exciting.
That's special. And then when you finally use it, it feels amazing?
Yeah.
Gotcha. Training schedule, because, there's people out there who are on the, they want to be where you're at, right? And so you're obviously doing something right, and I often ask people about training. Like, what are you doing? Like, you said you're a bit of a grinder. You said Sundays you do some labbing. Do you have a daily routine or anything like that?
No. There's times where I won't play for like a week straight. There's times where I'll play every day of the week. It's just really random depending on my mood. I don't know.
Do you watch your own replays or other matches?
So I do watch other Kolin replays like Nephew, just to kind of see how they deal with certain matchups and see if there's anything I can take away from that and then implement it myself.
Okay. Do you have a favorite player, or do you have a favorite player now to watch? Do you have a favorite player of all time? Do you have somebody who inspires you?
My favorite player of all time would have to be Sako.
Sako? Why?
So back in Street Fighter 4 when I first picked it up, I was a Cammy main, and he was using Cammy around the same time. So he was someone I studied like religiously, and then his execution is just insane. It's just great. I don't know. He's a really good player, super solid, and I think he's one of the Japanese gods, quote unquote gods. I don't know. He's just super interesting to me.
I mean, there's not a lot to argue with about that. There's nothing to push back on or anything like that. But you particularly admire his execution.
Just him in general as a person. Like he's like 30 something now.
He's nearly 40 now.
Nearly 40. Has a child. He has a family, and he's still grinding it out, getting results. That's inspiring to me.
Oh yeah, he's absolutely inspiration in that respect. Absolutely, and always smiling, right?
Always.
Yeah, I like Sako a lot. All right, good. That's good to hear. That's a good inspiration to have. Now we talked about training, so let's talk a little bit about pressure. When you moved from, you said you started competing sort of like offline in 2013, so that was actually a while ago. When you first started competing offline, did you feel nerves? Did you feel pressure? Do you still feel nerves and pressure? And if so, how do you deal with it?
That's one of my biggest issues when I play in tournament, is dealing with nerves. I haven't found a set way to deal with them, but I don't know if you saw me play on stream yesterday. I was super nervous dropping combos. Then I went to go get a drink, chugged 2 of those really quickly, had to play on stream again, and I don't know, I felt fine. So maybe that's the answer, I don't know.
What was it, whiskey?
No, it was tequila.
It's tequila? Oh my god, I was joking. Jesus Christ. Okay, well, you know, some players get better when they drink. That's a thing, and some people don't. Daigo's talked about how he gets worse, and I think Fudo may get better, but you know, don't quote me on this, people. This is what I've heard. I know Daigo's definitely said it.
No, I definitely played a drunk Fudo at SCR, and I got bodied. I got destroyed.
Yeah, I mean, he's called Fudo because he likes food and drinking, so yeah, it's pretty wild how different people are like that. But that's interesting to hear. Just be careful. Be careful, kids. That's not good advice. That just happened to happen once. That's all. But do you have since you do suffer nerves and you have been dropping combos and you are growing as a player, are you thinking about how am I going to realistically deal with this in the future, or are you just thinking I just got to keep doing it?
So I've asked a lot of top players how they deal with their nerves, and what I get back is from most of these players is you have to. There's really no way to get over it. You just have to find the best way to play under that pressure. The nerves are always going to be there. You just have to play your best under those conditions.
Okay. Yeah, I've asked a few players as well, and a lot of them do say something similar, and often they rely on their muscle memory, I guess, you know, like to pull them through, and experience as well. But certainly the other one that I've heard and you see is meditation is something that is helpful. So I don't know if you've ever tried that.
I've never tried it, but maybe I should.
I think you should try it. Try it. It's weird because like I'm not one of these I'm one of these guys who was so just didn't believe in meditation for years and years and years, and recently I've been doing it, and over a period of time it's pretty helpful. I'm just saying. All right. So I want to ask you, what do you think of Sagat and G?
Sagat's kind of whack. Maybe they'll buff him season 4. G, on the other hand, he's a little too much right now. I feel they need to tone him down a bit, especially as V-Trigger 1. The flip kicks, there's really no way to punish him for those. So maybe they'll tone him down. We'll see.
Okay. But at the moment, I'm not seeing anyone like killing with G.
I think it's a little too far into the season for anyone to pick G. But I feel like if they don't tone him down, you'll definitely see a lot of Gs next season.
Next year. Okay. Well, he's an interesting character. I actually wouldn't mind seeing more Gs, but we'll see.
Yeah, I think he'd mix things up literally. Also, Strider, 801 Strider, he swears that G is broken.
He does. Yeah, he's pretty honest actually.
He is.
He doesn't downplay his characters at all.
He's pretty cheap.
Maybe I'll make him my secondary. All right, so let's talk about general. So, have you thought about, or do you play any other fighting games? Because you said you don't play general general games, but it sounds like fighting games are your thing. Are there any other fighting games that you play or are thinking of playing?
No, not at the moment. But I did start off in MK before I picked up Street Fighter. My first MK game was Mortal Kombat versus DC.
Okay.
I don't know if you ever played that. Game was super trash.
Yeah.
But then I switched over to Street Fighter 4.
So, are you excited about the prospect of a new Mortal Kombat, or are you just not bothered?
Well, I always try out the new Mortal Kombat games when they come out. And they're super fun, but I just don't see myself playing them like I do Street Fighter. So I do get it just to support the game, but I don't actually grind it out.
Got it. All right, so look, before we round out, tell me a little bit about your life so people can get a little window into you. Outside of fighting games, what does your life look like? What things are you interested in?
There's nothing super interesting. I'm still a student, so I'm working on my degree.
Well, what are you studying?
Math education.
Math education? We say maths. I say maths. But yeah, math education.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I go to school 4 days a week. Whenever I'm not playing Street Fighter, I'm usually doing schoolwork.
Okay. And are you super into the frame data? Because you said you weren't before, but now you're telling me you do math education. I feel like you should be into the frame data.
Yeah, maybe if I become a teacher, I'll teach my kids through frame data and Street Fighter.
That's wild. I can't believe you're into math education and you're not like a frame data freak.
I mean, I definitely do my research, but I'm not like super religious about it.
Fair enough, fair enough. So school and Street Fighter basically at the moment. Okay, awesome. All right, so basically if you don't end up being, let's say, within a pro gamer, what are you going to do with your math education? You going to become a teacher?
Probably, or there's different routes you can go, like research at a lab, actuary, or teacher, worst case scenario.
So what's your preference?
To be honest, I don't really know. The way I look at it is this degree is going to be like a backup in case the whole gaming thing doesn't work out. Okay. So we'll see.
So, all right, that's very telling. That means that you are very, very interested, very, very serious about what's going on. And you know, you wouldn't be making a name for yourself if you weren't serious. So, all right, is there anything you want to say to your followers out there, to your stream monsters, to your Reddit, supporters?
Shout outs to you guys. You guys are great. I would not be at a lot of these events if it wasn't for you guys. So thank you so much. You guys are great.
Awesome, awesome, awesome stuff. And thank you very much. Good luck this afternoon, Red Bull Conquest. And I hope to see more of you. And keep up the clean play because there's not many of you. But I think it's pretty awesome. And we're going to say goodbye to these guys. See you guys.